When a giant of Hollywood sits down with a titan of late-night television, you expect sparks to fly, witty banter, moments of insight, perhaps even a few viral sound bites. But no one was prepared for what happened when Denzel Washington sat down with Stephen Colbert. What began as a routine promotional interview soon spiraled into one of the most tense and uncomfortable exchanges ever witnessed on late-night TV. On that fateful evening, two towering figures with very different worldviews collided. It was supposed to be a simple conversation. Denzel had come to promote his latest film, a dark political drama already stirring up controversy for its unapologetic take on media manipulation and state surveillance. Colbert welcomed him with warmth, applause rang through the studio, and everything appeared normal. But right beneath the surface, something was brewing, an undercurrent of friction, subtle at first but undeniable. From the moment Denzel walked on stage, his demeanor was noticeably restrained. He wasn't smiling in his usual relaxed, charismatic way. His responses were tight, focused, and unusually clipped. Colbert started with lighthearted questions, poking fun at the actor's legendary intensity and asking about his preparation for difficult roles. Denzel gave curt answers. He wasn't playing along with the jokes. The crowd chuckled nervously, unsure whether this was a bit or a brewing storm. Then the conversation shifted. Colbert, known for threading politics into his interviews, leaned into the themes of Denzel's film and asked if it was a reflection of the real world. He referenced the erosion of public trust, the impact of disinformation, and asked whether Denzel believed Hollywood should do more to hold power accountable. That was the moment the tone completely shifted. Denzel leaned forward and asked, "Why does every conversation have to turn into a lecture about responsibility? Since when are actors supposed to fix the world?" His voice was calm but unmistakably sharp. Colbert tried to soften the moment, suggesting that public figures have the ability to influence thought. But Denzel wasn't letting it slide. He said, "You keep calling it influence. I call it manipulation. You want us to pick sides, wave banners, and push narratives? That's not storytelling, that's propaganda." The studio fell quiet. The energy in the room had changed. It was no longer a celebrity interview. It was a philosophical standoff. Colbert, quick-witted and usually in control, tried to pivot, tossing in a joke about method acting and asking whether Denzel ever took the role home with him. But Denzel didn't smile. Method acting isn't a party trick. It's not for entertainment. It's discipline, sacrifice. You either respect the craft or you don't. Colbert tried again, making light of Hollywood egos and awards, jesting. "You've got 2 Oscars. How many more do you think you deserve?" It was meant to get a laugh. "It didn't," Denzel replied, deadpan. "You don't measure legacy with statues." He paused. "You measure it with impact. With truth, but maybe truth's not what people want anymore." That line lingered in the air like smoke. Colbert, clearly rattled, attempted to regain control by circling back to the movie. But Denzel wasn't interested in returning to the script. Then came the tipping point. Colbert pressed him on a quote Denzel had made years earlier about the media. He had once said, "If you don't read the newspaper, you're uninformed. If you do, you're misinformed." Colbert challenged him. "Don't you think that kind of thinking contributes to distrust in journalism?" Denzel looked him dead in the eye and said, "Or maybe journalism contributed to the distrust. You ever think of that?" The audience murmured, unsure how to react. The tension had become almost unbearable. What was meant to be a promotional interview had turned into a quiet storm. Finally, Denzel looked off camera and asked, "Are we done here?" Colbert gave a nervous laugh. "Leaving me hanging, D?" But Denzel stood up, unclipped his mic, and walked off without another word. There was no music, no applause, just stunned silence. Behind the scenes, sources reported heated conversations. Denzel felt blindsided, saying the interview was supposed to be focused on the film. Colbert's team, on the other hand, believed they had stayed within reasonable boundaries, arguing that Denzel's recent statements and the film's political tone warranted deeper questions. Producers were left scrambling, unsure whether to air the interview or scrap it altogether. Clips of the incident began to leak online. A short video showing Denzel standing up and walking off set without smiling went viral within hours. Comment sections exploded. Some praised him for standing his ground, refusing to be baited. Others criticized him for being too sensitive, arguing that as a public figure he should expect tough questions. The debate only intensified when Colbert addressed the incident briefly in the next episode, saying, "Sometimes real conversations get uncomfortable, but that's how we grow." He didn't mention Denzel by name. Denzel himself remained largely silent. No tweets, no statements, no interviews, just the growing hum of speculation. His team later released a short message saying only, "Mr. Washington has great respect for the art of conversation, but not every conversation is artful." That cryptic message only fueled more curiosity. What had really happened? Was this a one-off moment of tension? Or was it a sign of a deeper cultural divide between celebrities and media, between authenticity and performance, between conversation and confrontation? Audiences began rewatching old interviews, looking for signs moments when Denzel might have hinted at his growing discomfort with Hollywood's evolving expectations. They found clips of him talking about faith, about family, about legacy. They noted how often he avoided political bait, how he always returned to craft, to purpose, to truth. As days passed, industry insiders weighed in. Some applauded Denzel for refusing to be part of what they called the late-night circus. Others warned that walking out on a show like Colbert's could hurt future promotional opportunities. But Denzel Washington is not just another actor. He is, for many, a symbol of integrity. A man who rose through an industry often hostile to men like him, not by selling out, but by standing firm. He doesn't do roles for clout. He doesn't speak for applause. And when he speaks at all, people listen. So when he walked off that stage, he wasn't just leaving a studio. He was drawing a line. And whether you see that as strength or stubbornness, one thing is certain, it made people stop. It made them think. And maybe in a world filled with noise, that silence said more than any viral soundbite ever could.